So, I'll tell you a funny story. At least I think it's funny. So, I was a career long musical equipment technician. I have a video, homeless in America living in an SUV. So, like, I can't say that I'm trouble free, but not as troubled as some people. And one of my cousins got me interested in getting high and doing stuff at a very early age. So at 15, I was kind of like experimenting with party assistance, you could say. So it could have affected me later on once I stopped. I mean, there could be something going on, but I mean, I don't consider myself to be clever or intelligent or anything. I consider myself to be average. I get mouthings to the contrary, but then I also get laudings. So at this particular instance, I had been a production assistant, musical equipment assistant, and done stage production for quite a few years. Started off as a kid, really doing shows on stage in kindergarten. So I was familiar with being behind the curtain because at 5 years old, I had to make presentations to adults and things like that. Being in Catholic school, you have to answer for yourself. We had business casual. I mean, we wore neckties and our shirts had to be pressed, for God's sake. Once we hit like second grade or something like that, we no longer could wear kid clothes. We wore business casual. We wore light blue shirts with navy blue ties and slacks with polished shoes. So, I mean, answering for oneself was regimented into the curriculum, and being on stage was no alien to me either. So I was constantly on stage and involved in stage production or stage assistance or stage something. So I was setting up for Frank Zappa, and we had gotten all the stage fixed and done and all the instruments set up, and he was standing there with his guitar. He had just come to do a rehearsal, and we hadn't finished the sound check yet, and I don't think he knew that. So the sound man asked me to do something really weird, which isn't like normally when they do check you for sound, you hear a lot of people doing the same thing. They have these vowels or consonants that they use to, and they kind of do like that and go check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. But the sound man actually asked me to talk, and I really didn't know what to say. I mean, I was like, okay, so I just started making all these weird noises. And like Frank Zappa's literally 10 feet away from me, and one of his other instrument players is standing right beside me, and I'm standing on the next microphone, and I'm just seeing what comes to mind. I mean, 7 years ago. I mean, you know, whatever came to mind. And these guys, I could see, I have a very good peripheral vision from growing up in the street and having to watch my back because nobody else was watching it, and seeing things coming out of nowhere and ducking and all that other stuff, and also training in the martial arts. So my side vision is almost as good as my forward vision. And I'm watching these guys, and their heads are bowed down, and they've got these angrily, like, mean faces looking at me like, what in the world? I mean, I can't even imagine what they were thinking. But I didn't even look at them. I mean, never made eye contact with them. I'm not much for celebrity, especially if they're dorks. But, you know, these guys, I don't know either one of them. I was just doing their sound check. I know a little about their music. I know Frank Zappa a little bit about his music. I used to listen to him a long time ago. So I knew about like Apostrophe and I am the slime, when his rhetoric was more, it made more sense. You know, like, I'm gross and perverted, I'm obsessed and deranged, I have existed for years, but very little has changed. I'm the tool of the government and industry too, for I am destined to rule and regulate you. I may be vile and pernicious, but you can't look away. I make you think I'm delicious with the stuff that I say. I'm the best you can get. Have you guessed me yet? I'm the slime oozing out of your TV set. You may obey me while I lead you, eat the garbage that I feed you, until the day that we don't need you. Don't go for help, no one will heed you. Your mind is totally controlled, you have been stuffed into my mold, and you will do as you are told until the rights to you are sold. You know, that kind of stuff was really, it had integrity and influence. It really meant something to me. But then, you know, the stage had dildos all over it and sex toys and stuff. It was just like Castration City and all this other stuff. And it almost reminds me of the big stone castration down in Washington, D.C. Everybody's into castrated males, where guys' masculinity or humanity is slandered, jeered, abused, used, and they're only as good as their penis. You know, it gives me concepts of that. But nonetheless, I mean, the guy didn't like me from from the encounter that we had. It didn't seem he liked me very much. But eventually the sound man says, okay, that's good, thanks. And I go, okay. And I turn around and walk off. I mean, I thought that was pretty awesome.